Okay, so your staff are working hard, and it's important, or even yourself, if you're a solopreneur, you're working hard, and it's important to make sure that you have options available for customers to express their appreciation. This is where gratuities and tips come into play. So, customers are, of course, able to give you a gratuity in person, and you can choose to mark that down on your invoice directly, or you can also have them pay online, and they can make a gratuity payment online as well. Now, that would look similar to this. They're going to see your company logo, so on and so forth, when they're making a payment, and they can simply choose one of these prefixed amounts. It's going to calculate automatically based on the total, or they can enter in a custom amount if they want to do, like $100, and then it'll show them what their new total is going to be with the tip. So they're able to do that, and then they can fill out the information and make their payment. So that's one way that customers can pay their bill. With adding the gratuity there, and of course you can check them out in person and add a gratuity as well manually. So one thing you have to set up if you want this to go to an actual one of your employees, though, is on the invoice you have to make sure that they're marked down. We'll scroll to the bottom here, sales rep commission. So you have to make sure that you select the staff member that you want to receive the commission. So in this case, this is if they're going to get actual commission on the order, but if they're just simply going to be receiving the gratuities and stuff like that, just make sure they're selected here, and then you can set this to 0 if they're not getting actual commission, and then you can save it. But that way at least the sales rep is associated to this, and by sales rep it's really your technicians, your staff, but it could also be if you have independent salespeople like some of our subscribers do, then that's where you can set that in there and make sure they're selected there so that you can keep track of who's supposed to get gratuity payments. So then you would save this invoice. Then from there, when a customer leaves a gratuity for this invoice, it's going to show up here in your list. And if you haven't selected the staff member, this will just be blanked out, so you won't be tracking any payouts. Maybe you're working by yourself, so you don't have to track all of that stuff. So this is where it'll show your gratuities listed here. It'll show you the invoice that it's for. You can click that and then go view the invoice. It'll show you the amount. It'll show you the notes for the transaction, and then also if it's been paid out to the staff member or not. So if I click this, for example, now it marks that that one's been paid, and I can also mark it unpaid, and I can simply delete it as well if I would like to. So you have some options there for the gratuities. Now on the invoice side, it'll show the gratuity that's been collected. So here we're viewing the invoice in our back end, and if we scroll down, it shows our invoice payments that have been received, and then it's also going to show the gratuities that have been collected for that particular invoice, and that'll be in your profit loss section where it shows your invoice expenses as well, and then calculates the profit loss based on here's the payment received and you had expenses for this, so it shows you your profit loss. And in the middle, that's where it shows you the gratuities that were collected, and then you're able to go under your gratuities. So you go to finances, gratuities and tips, and then that's where you can mark this as paid. So if at the end of the week, for example, when we pay our staff, we can go in and we can mark these as paid out. So really simple system, but it is good to have a system like that for staff, gratitude and attributing to their success and feeling like they're part of the team. So having that option is very important. And the other way to do this, of course, is to manually just add on to an invoice. You can add on a tip as well if you want. When you're viewing a particular invoice, you can do it in the notes here. Sometimes we do that. Sometimes they just give a staff member cash, things like that. There's lots of options, but one of the good options is having customers here. I'll copy this and just paste it. One good option is having customers when they're paying online. They can simply add a gratuity here, or you can check them out in your storefront at your retail space, or from your tablet. If you're doing a mobile job, you can check them out and then basically just pass them the tablet. They can fill in this information directly and add the gratuity on the spot. So really good feature, and it's a great way to collect gratuities for yourself or for your employees as well.